Hi, I am magazine viewers. Welcome to our Ask the Expert show. Today, my guest is very special and I'm very privileged to have him. It's Raffaello Visconti. Hey, Rafa.
Hello. I'm very
Hello.
privileged to be interviewed.
It's very a pleasure, really a pleasure to have you here. Um, Rafa, you are a musician, a Belgian musician. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
And we actually found out about you online, on Facebook, on YouTube. And for our next issue of I Am Magazine, we wanted to interview you because we really feel and think that you have a very inspiring story to share. So, first of all, can I ask you please to introduce yourself for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Raffaello Visconti. As you said, I'm a musician. I'm based in Belgium, in Ghent. But I'm partly Italian and British, so I'm Belgian, Italian, and English from my parents' side. And I've started playing music, the guitar to be precise, when I was 12 years old. And it's really something that became, yeah, the number one focus in my life now. And I have a big love of traveling and learning about new places, new cultures, exchanging, and music is the perfect sort of tool for that. So I consider myself to be a traveling musician if I can, not right now since we're basically in lockdown, but there's a time to move and a time to sit still. So yeah, I'm 28 right now. I'm from 92. So that's me in a nutshell.
How is that pandemic in a certain way been a positive thing? Because you say there's time to travel, there's time to move, and time to
Mhm.
stay still. And is there anything positive that you could say about that time of time when you have to stand still?
Yes, definitely. And it's a nice question also to focus on the positive, which is a very important aspect. It's not always easy to focus on the positive. I feel personally also some moments it's just difficult. Some things in your life, when you have no control over certain things. But those are the times it's best to learn to accept and let go and see the possibilities that are there and not the ones that aren't. So for me, I was also very lucky because I chose to travel. I went to Ghana for 4 months. Last December is when I left, and I came back in the first week of lockdown in Belgium.
Oh,
So I had an amazing experience traveling, making music, really, so many things. And then I came back, and I actually was, for me, the lockdown was a perfect moment because I had just spent 4 months away from my home and traveling, pretty roughly many times also, with very low budget too. But so it was not always easy, but it was welcome for me to be back in my place, my home, have my instruments, be able to record and put inspiration into music.
mm-hmm.
So for me, it was very positive. The first lockdown, well, there were many things I was feeling very grateful to be for the family, for my family, for the people in my life, for what I had. So it wasn't very difficult for me at that point. Also seeing, I live very close to nature reserve here in Ghent, and being able to walk in nature, seeing the sky with no airplanes was really a blessing. It was really something that we don't get to experience that. Right now we're back in lockdown basically. It's a little bit different than the first one. Was more extreme since everybody had to really stay in the house more or less.
Mm-hmm.
This time I feel like the first week I was having trouble with it. It was just getting, colder and darker with the winter coming. My gigs had been canceled again, for the yeah, for again it was the third time I guess. So no more gigs now in the no perspective for any gigs. So that's why I was having trouble with that, accepting that for a bit. But then I managed to also focus again on what I did have and also being able to work on my music that I've been recording and trying to make something to release and share with the world at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And before I get into the origins of your love for music, I wonder, do you get more inspired right now that you have more time to reflect, to think, or it doesn't matter?
It's different. I mean, I'm so inspired by moving around. That's why I love it a lot. I love to be traveling, puts you in a moment, and experiencing different places makes you alert in the moment. And when I'm home, it's in waves, you know, it comes and goes in waves. At
Mm,
some point, it will be good to move again. Like I've also really made the decision since I don't really have to, only for a few things. Like if I don't have to, I don't really go far right now.
mm,
But it's yeah, it's okay. You know, like it depends. Inspiration, it's a lot to do with the state of mind. Whatever lifestyle you like, you have to find a balance a little bit. It's always a challenge. So that's what I'm trying to to focus on a bit and just work on my music. It gives me a lot of joy, and the inspiration comes when you get into the flow. Sometimes, you know,
mm.
sometimes you just have to let it be and do something else, or you know.
And what first got you into music?
So my father, he lives in Italy, and ever since I'm small, in the holidays, when it was, so you know, no school, I would go to Italy. And in the house in Italy, there's an old piano that is not very tuned, especially now after years, it's completely out of tune. But it was slightly tuned at that point, and I was just messing around on it and pressing the keys and finding melodies, and that's I think the first instrument that really like made me discover the possibility to play music. And I was doing it just every now and then, like going to it and experimenting. And then I really felt like I wanted to learn how to play the piano, and it was an idea that it stayed in my head, but it never really got to be like it never really got, you know, manifested into taking lessons or actually something like that. So it was when I was 12 years old that I had my first guitar, and that came to be because there was around that age I saw a kid of 16, so he was a bit older than me, and he was playing the guitar. And I had never seen somebody so close playing the electric guitar. Even if he wasn't the most amazing guitar player, he really impressed me by being able to play some tunes that I was loving at the time and I was listening to. So I was so impressed. So that was like ignited a fire inside me and really made me motivated to want to learn an electric guitar. You know, I wanted to have it and wanted to learn how to play it. Had no idea how to start, had no idea how much it cost, had no idea about all of that. But I was very blessed to that my grandmother in Italy, for Christmas, I sent her email after I saw the kid, like for Christmas, asking if it would be possible to get an electric guitar. I had no idea, like, yeah, what or how much. But then she actually got me one, which has been really a gift that changed my life because from that day on, it I became a guitarist. So so of course I couldn't play anything at first. I was just a few things that I had tried, but I was putting the guitar on my lap and I was playing. And somebody told me you have to hold it like this. But slowly but surely, you know, like going on YouTube,
Mhm,
asking people who were already playing, show me some things, and that's how I got into it.
mhm. And how would you describe the music that you typically play? Because I will share an extract of your music during inside this interview. But how would you describe it? Because I feel I've listened to it. I think of all kind of emotions when I listen to it. But how would you yourself describe your music?
I like that you said emotions already because feeling is the basis, and it's a very important part of music because just like in life in general, I feel there's the rational mind and then there's the feeling, and it's a combination of both. Like to be able to play your instrument well, some technique and being able to rationalize is important, which is but it's not the essence for me. The essence is the feeling that it transmits because sometimes somebody can't really hasn't got a lot of technique, but what the music that comes out of what they're doing is it feels amazing because of the feeling. So that's mostly. So it's hard to say what style. So for me, it's something that I would like to touch the soul of people, and I like to hear music that speaks to my soul, that really goes beyond. You know, sometimes you just want to hear something that makes you dance. Like music can be so many things and take you through all kinds of emotions. The important thing is that it's real, that it's coming from a real place. For me, that's the most important. So the influences are so many for me because I live in a time with internet, you know, all these information, all these things are just at a click of a button away. So it's really special, and automatically my music also becomes a mix of many of those influences.
Yeah, and I can tell your music is very special. So I propose that we listen to it right now, a little extract.
Okay.
Wow, I really love this music. I really want to congratulate you because I really think that whenever I listen to the sounds, these tracks, I really feel all kind of emotions. I can be willing to move, or sometimes I can think of some memories, or sometimes can be a little bit sad, but it's not. Um, it's really enjoyable. It's really nice. So it's really a good work.
Thank you so much. That's all I can say. Thank you. Thank you, really.
And so, speaking about music events that were canceled,
Mm.
what's your best memory um, of the music gigs that you've so of events where you've played before? What's your best memory that you can tell?
Some of the highlights, this, yeah, it depends from the point of view. Because like in certain terms, to be able to work with some great musicians definitely is part of my highlights. Like being able to work with Zap Mama, who is very inspiring artist and human being, and has been a bit of a mentor to me too, and I've been able to have some amazing experiences musically and traveling with her. So also from Belgium, she's, yeah, a very unique artist who has gone around the world with her music, really reached a lot of souls and hearts, and been able to have a very unique creative sort of product. I mean, music, I would say product doesn't sound right. Yeah, that is very unique. That is just also authentic. So that's definitely uh, an honor to that I've been able to do that. And another legend for me is Ebo Taylor
Mhm.
from Ghana, who when I went to Ghana, I ended up playing with him. So I played two concerts with him. He's a afrobeat high life legend from yeah, from back in the day times of Fela Kuti. He was working together with him. Was one of the pioneers and the godfathers in of that music in Ghana. So it's very deep, spiritual, rhythmic music, which is a fusion also of traditional African rhythms and also influenced by funk coming from America and jazz and these things together. And it's really incredible music that is so alive and to be able to play with those musicians it was just that's just a blessing. So I played one concert with them in Ghana just before I had to leave the first time I went there. And so the timing was all perfect. The whole story, if I tell you, it's strange. It's hard to believe even like how it happened. But then I played another concert with them. I reunited with them a few months later in March last year in Venice, in the Biennale in Venice, which was a unique experience. I had never been to Venice before, obviously to Rome often because that's my second home. But so I traveled from Rome by train to Venice to go and meet up with them again, and then we played in this amazing city for this. Okay, it was just surreal. It was those sort of things are definitely some of the highlights. But then with my own projects too, I've had such amazing moments where, for me, if playing with my own band, so musicians I really know, we used to do in Ghent. We used to do. There was a bar where we used to do sessions every month. And then there is a festival called Ghent Festival in the summer. It's a 10-day long free festival throughout the whole city with concerts everywhere, all kinds of activities. And we had a year where were playing, I think maybe 4 or 5 nights in that bar. And we were playing from midnight till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning nonstop. So we were playing sets of 4 to 5 hours. And it was just packed full of people all getting into it. And that's when like something magic happens, like just the energy of everyone together, keeping playing the music, improvising a lot was mostly what we did, but we really were playing together for a long time, so we really knew each other. We could easily take it different directions. So these sort of things definitely are highlights. Some beautiful concerts, very nice festivals I've been able to see and do. But then also taking my small acoustic guitar and going to faraway village, like in Senegal when I went the first time, and playing my guitar with some kids or whoever I'm meeting through that music is also like so many highlights. I feel if I think about those things, it's different in different levels,
Mhm.
but I'm very grateful so far for the opportunities I've been able to have musically by just following what I love, basically. So
And you actually anticipated a question that I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to ask it still. Who else do you admire as a musician? Because you mentioned Zap Mama, you mentioned Fela Kuti, you mentioned Ibo,
Ibo Taylor, yeah.
yeah, Ibo Taylor. But I guess you must be inspired by a lot of other musicians because when I listen to your music, there's a lot of influence. I can hear some Caribbean beats, some African beats, some funky a funky flavor also in your music. So who else does
Yes,
inspire you?
definitely. That's a long list, but I would like to start at the very beginning because when I first started really listening to music, choosing to listen to music, well, the very first music when I had a little Walkman back in the days, one of those things that
Speaking a long time ago.
the young crowd will not. I mean, I consider myself to be young still, but I mean, the new generation will not even know what that is because technology moved so fast. But I had a radio on that, and I have this memory of my brother and sister saying, like, I think at the table or something, oh, I couldn't live without music. And I was small, I was like, I could live without music. like it's not that important to me, you know, like if I listen to the radio on that thing, I would mostly love the classical radio station. So I was very young. I don't even know what age, but I must have been really like, I don't know, maybe 7 or something like that. So that was the only music on the radio I could really like. If not, I was just scrolling all the time. There was not like sometimes one song that would be nice, and then the next song I was scrolling already. So I still don't really listen to radio. But the first music that really had a huge impact on me was Bob Marley, because I had a cassette, Bob Marley One Love, that album in cassette form. And I
Mm-hmm.
really listened to that one so many times, falling asleep with it. So that's one that has a huge influence on me. And for me, it's still like someone who did something with music that is amazing. You know, it's really amazing the depth of his music and the way he managed to touch the people around the world. There's not a place where you're not gonna hear his music sounding through the streets, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a huge influence. Later, when I was about 12, like around the time I started playing the guitar, and also by getting into the guitar, there was there was a lot of music at that time was more like Nirvana and classic rock music. Some music that I got from my mom, some from my dad. But my mom would listen to a lot of different types of music, like also Michael Jackson is something I heard, and then John Lee Hooker's blues and Nirvana also I heard through my mom, Jimi
Mm-hmm.
Hendrix, these sort of
Yeah.
things, Led Zeppelin, these classic rock, especially
Mm-hmm.
starting to play the guitar, you know, there's a lot you really get into the rock because there's so much stuff online about that and but then later I got into funk music more and getting deeper into that really whoa it's like a universe that opened up so reggae's always been there been a part of it then a classic sort of rock in a way and then funk and funk got me into hip hop too like first I wasn't much into hip hop but because the sample culture and I was looking through hip hop, finding amazing funk songs and soul albums and just starting to discover a whole world of music. And when I also used to go to the library here in Ghent where you can just rent CDs, and there I was just going crazy by getting every time taking the full amount and then even taking sometimes my mom's card and my sister's card to have three double the amount I could take home and then putting all the music on my computer. So discovering the world because it was well organized, you know, per country, per like African music or Asia or all these things, pop music. So that was also a big source of inspiration. So it's become a very big web of many influences from that point, you know. There's
Indeed.
many heroes to me, like some, you know, very famous ones like Stevie Wonder or Donny Hathaway. These sort of there's just some names that are, you know, classic and timeless. But there's a lot of things I listen to, tribal music from all corners of the world, like just the things, you know, that talk to me.
Mm-hmm. And before we spoke about the musicians that inspire you, you mentioned that the best memories that you have are with others in festivals, in groups, in events. But you're a solo player, right? You're a solo musician. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer to be a solo and jump in groups and work with others from times to times? Or or do you think that you will be joining a band and that you will be playing with others in the coming years most of the time? What's your
Yeah,
favorite?
favorite. Yeah, it's hard to say favorite, but I think the ideal situation for me is to play with people, but to have that connection to a certain level and to be able to work out your ideas together and take it to the next level is something very, very powerful. Like some
Mhm,
magic in playing music together is something that is just incredible. But that being said, with technology, there are amazing possibilities to do things by yourself too, or not even with technology. You know, some people they just have a guitar and sing. I don't really sing much, you know, like I haven't really performed singing. I have sang like when I'm jamming on the street and having musical encounters, and when I'm feeling it, I can use my voice, but it's something I'm shy about to do it on a stage. I haven't
Okay.
gotten to a point, but I would like to though. I would like to
Okay.
develop that. But I'm I'm a musician that it's not like I wouldn't say like I'm a solo musician or necessarily like I'm a bit of all of that. I'm just a musician playing, going with the flow basically, and I've been playing in many projects, and I still do today. Of course, now with Corona, some things are really on hold, but I'm still involved in quite a few projects. I have my own band, which is with some people from Ghent and around Ghent, which some I have been playing with for a long time. And then my solo project and playing alone is something that also out of necessity was something that came to be. Like if when I used to play in a band before, then that band split up. People were
Mm,
asking me to do gigs, and I was like, "What am I going to do? I have to do something." So I decided to use a loop pedal and create a sort of way that I could make music using effect pedals and looping myself without singing and make it interesting and make it full, and that was a challenge and something I've been also doing a lot, and I can really enjoy because I can really get into my own world in a way. Everything, if you play alone, the decisions are up to you, and
mm-hmm.
it's also very nice. But now as a solo artist, I've been recording so much music throughout the years and I have never finished and released something official. So I can't really, I'm not, but I'm moving close to that stage right now, and I'm making use of this lockdown to get to the stage that I can come out with an
Mm,
album with my name on it to share with the world. Because what you have seen online was actually a unique sneak preview, I would say, because that's the only thing you will find with my own productions and me playing on it.
mm-hmm.
So
Well,
so
that's a great news.
yeah,
Great news. Okay. Well, I have some other questions, a bit less serious questions,
all
a bit
right.
more fun question.
Nice.
So, do you have performance anxiety? You know, like you are about to go on stage and blank, or you go on stage and you are excited and you don't feel anxious and you just perform.
It depends. Of course, the very first time I performed, that was with my first band. We were all young. I was about 15, 16, and we were gonna do our first concert. And whoa, the days before that, I couldn't, laying in my bed trying to sleep. It was just very stressful, very exciting. Never having performed, and it was just in a small bar, but it meant a big thing. and uh and so there's been these stages, and like first time playing a big stage, it's also very exciting, like all these sort of things. So it's really depending. Right now, very rarely I'm nervous unless it's something that we haven't rehearsed well. Like sometimes I'm asked to play with a singer, to play some of her songs, or in another band, some temporary projects, and oftentimes there's not a lot of time to really rehearse well together. So if it's in that situation, it can be a bit more stressful. But I kind of developed also by doing it a lot. Like I don't really stress much about it, and I know like if I can be myself, play as myself, then there's not much to stress about.
Mm,
But the live stream concerts I did during the first lockdown, they were pretty stressful. So I did two, which is one that you saw from Mama's open mic,
yeah,
and that was really giving me a lot of stress.
really. Oh,
Because
wow.
it was just the minutes before, because it's so strange. It's also technical. You have to control if you're playing. You want it to sound nice. So I was looking up all the ways to make sure you get good sound, and then it's going live. So, and you're standing in your room, everybody's looking into your room like right now, and then you're playing, and you have no idea, you have no response of the audience. So
Mm,
then I'm playing, and sometimes my mind goes to, is it even recording? Is it really, like these sort of
yes,
things. This can be quite stressful, but
yes.
usually like playing a gig is not really stress. Some days you can have this feeling, but it goes away usually. Like it's always
Yeah.
it can be a good sort of energy too, to
Mm-hmm.
to make you a bit on edge. Yeah.
I understand what you mean, and but the Mama's open mic was great, and the I could see the comments online when you were playing, and people were asking, "Who's that guy? The music is awesome!" And I also discovered you at that occasion. I was like, "Who is this? The
Yeah, I'm
music
very
is just
grateful
great."
for that. That was very nice to be a part of that, and that's why I wanted to make it something special. So that's why I decided to, since it was about 10 minutes, I was first maybe thinking of playing some things with my loop pedal, but that's the sort of thing I like to have the time to build up. And 10 minutes, I felt like I have to put something down that can really like, take people on a little trip for 10 minutes, and then I put some work into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very grateful to them, and yeah, because it's been great to be. I was also, crazy to see that the amount of people that see these live streams is like I see a little number there, and I can hardly even believe, it's hard to really realize what that means, so it is a lot of exposure for sure.
Yeah,
So I'm grateful for that. Also, you are here interviewing me now, so I'm happy that, it's one thing amounts to the next. That's usually how it goes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Mm.
nice if it can connect. This technology can be used for this to share and connect people in
Mm-hmm.
this way. Then I then think that's one of the most positive aspects of that. There's a lot of aspects that are difficult in these times of this technology and
Yeah,
social
that's
media, but this is definitely an amazing part about it.
that's true. My next question is, do you sing in the shower?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I even stamp my feet and clap my hands in the shower. Yeah, yeah, not always, but yeah, oftentimes like I'm have some melody, or if I'm working on music and I'm taking a shower and it's still in my head or these things. So yeah, not necessarily out loud always, but sometimes I'm dancing in the shower.
You're normal people. You're
Yeah,
normal.
of course. I hope everybody does it. I think it's very important to be able to do.
And if you weren't a musician today, if you weren't an artist, what kind of job would you be doing?
It's a very good question. I think I've always loved nature, animals, so maybe I would be doing that, like going deep into I don't know, the jungle or wherever to I don't know, to study and help animals or something like that. That's something is the first thing that comes to my mind. Uh, or but it's become such a, you know, I don't know the word, even such a fundamental part of my life now, music, that it's really,
You don't imagine like not living with it.
yeah, it's like, yeah, music is also like, I feel like you have to live the music to evolve in it, and to like it's just something that I really very happily, you know, get into, and it's become a part of my life, made me the person I am today. But apart from that, you still are who you are, whatever, if they take away everything, you still are essentially the same. Uh,
Mm.
I think so. But it's a good question. It's a hard one. So I guess I would like to be probably something with nature and animals.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, what is the most useless talent that you have?
a useless talent. Whoa, that's a
Because you have
that's a
great
difficult
talents.
question.
I think you're a talented person. So I'll say to myself, what is the most useless talent that he could have?
That's a very difficult question. There's nothing that straight away gets into my mind, but then I'm actually wanting to ask another question. Like, are there useless talents? Maybe, but you're not saying useless, but the least
The least
useful,
used, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a great actually way to answer it, because I also say to myself, I don't think there is any useless talents, but the question is more intended to say, okay, maybe I'm good at, I don't know, could be anything, something fun
hmm
that
Yeah, I'm
you don't
I'm
need
trying
to.
to think. Maybe not something that I necessarily became aware of. Like I also love drawing. I haven't really done it much, but it's definitely not the most the least useful. It's
No,
definitely useful. The least useful, it's
could be imitations.
Imitations. Oh yeah. It can still be useful one day, you know.
Great, great one.
Oh, this has been the most difficult question so far for me.
And okay, the last question would be, okay, I have two last questions. What's on your playlist? The what's on your playlist? Do you actually go out, have your own music, revise it, and think, oh, I should change this? Or you just like other people, you have your favorite musicians in your playlist?
So yeah, that's also
And
right
another
now.
difficult one.
Yeah, a little bit because also I'm kind of now lost a bit track. What I used to do is when I was getting all the CDs, and you know, getting them on my computer and stuff, and I was making playlists on my iTunes and then putting them on my iPod back in the day, you know, and making my own playlists and often listening to that music. And it's only been maybe a year and or 2 years now that I also have Spotify, and then I didn't really want to feel like I have to start over again, you know, but it kind of happened a bit. Like I just have liked songs and then I start to make a few playlists, but I haven't really got a clear overview right now. But I still have my iPod with
Mm,
all my original playlists, and I still love, like, it can really bring me back to myself sometimes.
mm,
There's a lot of music on there, a lot of different playlists, so a lot of music that I've been gathering throughout the years that inspired me. But then Spotify, yeah, it's also a useful tool because there's so much on there, but not everything as well.
mm,
And I also definitely have maps with my own music and own productions, and find it very inspiring to listen to it in a different context when I'm traveling or in a different place, and then I can very clearly hear what I need to do to
yeah.
get it to the next level. Because
Mm,
sitting here where I'm working at my music, sometimes you just don't hear it. So
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it becomes very clear. So it's very important to have that distance and to also listen, analyze to be able to improve it. So
Mm.
there's definitely importance also
Yeah, this is
for
part of
me.
your creation process, actually.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's true.
Um, and the last question is, what is the best advice you've been given in your life?
Best advice. First thing that comes to my mind is my grandfather from my mom's side, who was a Belgian, so my Belgian grandfather. He was quite a bit of a hard man, like not showing a lot of emotion often, and but was very nice to his grandkids. So, but he one day he told me, he said, "Milan, so you want to do music?" Because he understood that I was really passionate about that. And he really, I could feel like he was going to say something serious, which is not something he would do often, you know, for me. And he said like, "Okay, you want to do music? If you want to do music, then you have to go for it, and you have to really put everything into it, and and then you'll be able to do whatever you want to do." Basically, is what he said, and it's something that only later I realized, like, this actually was a very powerful moment that I'm very grateful for, because he was very encouraging to something that I wouldn't have expected him necessarily to be encouraging to. He was not necessarily, you know, very much into arts or really encouraging those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, he's been able to say that. So that's one of the things that's just came into my mind first, you know. But I've heard a lot of many inspiring
Mm-hmm.
words, you know. But to yeah to be dedicated,
Yeah,
and to
to
put
what
to put your
you,
heart into things. So that's important to be yourself.
yes. Well, that's a great, actually, that's a great advice. And I think it is the type of timeless advice, you know, whatever you love, whatever you like to do, give it 100% of yourself. So that's
Yeah,
very inspiring. And thank you for sharing that. I think it will be also very inspiring for our viewers. I found our discussion very, very inspiring, very interesting. I'm happy that our viewers and our audience get to know you better. I usually give the last word to my guests. So, well, what would you, yeah, what is the one message that you can give to your fans?
I don't know, like to my fans, um, I just want to say thank you first of all for letting me be myself and for letting me and for enjoying that, you know, makes me want to do it even better and makes me want to also release music for the world to enjoy. You know, like inspires me to really get that process, keep it going, and get it to some finished products, and then just after that, it's just gonna keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
So a big thank you because it's that's the most valuable thing for me is a connection through that, you know. So positive connection in that way, and it's a blessing. So thank you very much. So maybe just as how I can inspire people, this my fans inspire me. It's not like one is here and one is there. It's really it's we are
Yeah.
together in this, so that's really the beauty of it. So a big thank you, and peace and love to the world. That's all I have to say.
Thanks a lot, Raffaello. I really enjoyed our discussion. And I am magazine viewers. If you have comments or questions for Raffaello, please make sure to comment under this video. If you want to get in touch with Raffaello, make sure that you connect with him on Facebook or YouTube. Let us know what you thought about this interview. And Raffaello, this is the end of our nice chat. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
I hope to see you on stage very soon, hopefully.
I hope that too. I really do. Yeah, it's gonna the moment it's gonna happen is gonna be amazing. So when the
Yeah,
time is right, we just have to be patient now.
when the time is right, indeed.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, and see you next time, I Am Magazine viewers. Bye. Bye.